Hello, everybody, and good evening. It is Monday, which means it is time for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Thank you all again for bearing with the crazy schedule. As I said last time, we're going to see some changes in the schedule here as I tend to the most important thing in the world, and that is my family. With concerts coming up, football games going on, and everything else like that, I dedicate that time to them because it's important. So thank you all for bearing with us in the occasion that we show up. It just makes it more meaningful when you get to view a show because it's like a special treat that you get on Monday night that isn't football. So, hello everyone and thank you again. Let's go over some stuff that's coming out. If you haven't noticed recently, on D&D Beyond, there is this wonderful little section that talks all about this one D&D section. And that is an interesting thing because they just released the newest playtest for that. And it's exciting because let's just dive into it. It's called Expert Classes. So, this is the way that they're working it right now is you have a choice of classes. You can be a barbarian, a bard, a cleric, a druid, a fighter, a monk, a paladin. You can be a ranger, a rogue, a warlock, a sorcerer, a warlock, a wizard. You have a choice. However, comma, with the way that they've done class groups now, is you are either an expert, a mage, a priest, or a warrior. Underneath that group are the individual classes. So for experts, that's the group, you have bard, ranger, and rogue. Also the artificer, but that's where it goes. Now, what it means to be a part of a group, there's no rules in and of itself. However, there might be prerequisites and other things that refer to it, such as feats that may be accessible only by the expert class, or there might be like an item that is only accessible by the expert class. And they've done that with all of them. And I kind of like it because of the way that they have the classes. Now, the newest PDF, which is out now on D&D Beyond, it's where they're putting the Unearthed Arcana for this. So they're kind of gone away from Unearthed Arcana being this monthly or every quarter update thing to just being focused on this new playtesting material. But basically the way that it works out is you have class features grant you special features at certain levels in the class just like you saw before. Subclasses whenever you pick your subclass, specialization. So that really hasn't changed. The only thing that's really kind of changed in it all is that they've grouped them all underneath these particular things. What I will say is that they also mention for the class groups that the each class group has a primary ability. And of course, nope, actually that's not true. They talked about the primary ability as a class critical feature. So again, nothing really has changed, so to speak, other than just grouping them together for future things. Now, one of the other reasons I don't want to bring up the playtesting material is because there are at the end of it an addendum that has the rules set for this play style. Um, this one also has feats. It has changes to the thief class, the hunter for ranger, and the College of Lore bard. Um, and it's really kind of interesting because, like I said, you go through and you can see that there are feats that are specialized for different feats, like fighting style. Great weapon fighting is the warrior group. If you classify in the warrior group, and that's monk, that is paladin, no, that's monk, barbarian, and fighter. If you are in that group, you can get this feat. It's not just a fighter feat. It's also not just and anybody can get a feat. So it's interesting that they have these things. Um, they've updated some of the feats that we're used to seeing, such as grappler, inspired leader. has changed a little bit because now you do it at the end of a short or long rest instead of spending just 10 minutes whenever you wanted to. Um, let's let's talk about one that I hated in fifth edition, and it's a little changed here, and that's Keen Mind. First of all, you cannot get it until your fourth level. You have to have an intelligence of 13 or higher. You've trained to rapidly recall or discover vital details, granting you the following benefits: ability score increase in your intelligence. Choose one of the following skills: Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, Religion. If you lack proficiency in those chosen skills, you gain proficiency in it. And if you have proficiency, you gain expertise in it. Also, you can take the study action as a bonus action. And the study action, I'll have to figure out where that's at in there. I didn't read over it too much. But I love the fact that Keen Mind isn't just you recall shit. Because me having to tear through my notes because you didn't write down the note and I have to remember where this one fucking person's name is. Listen, it's just a pain in the ass. I hated Keen Mind. Um, they also talked about dividing up the spells into arcane, divine, and primal. That was the other spell list type. And how it's just that list. Some classes, like the Bard College of Lore, will bleed over into different ones based off where they are. But like I said, get into this in the previous one, which talked about character creation, because it's really interesting how they do things, and they will have more testing material coming out. I don't know when the next one's going to release, but they're saying right now you can run these rules based off of like Candlekeep Mysteries or Journey through the Radiant City, where it's like standalone little adventures that you can get an idea of it. But it has a lot of information about attacking, taking different actions, how tools will work now, um, creature types, D20 tests. Everything is called a test now, not a check. If it's an ability check, an attack roll, a saving throw, whatever that is, it's called a D20 test. Um, they talk about flying speed, all the stuff there. So go check it out. Again, it's for free. It's on D&D Beyond underneath sources, and it says one D&D is like at the very top. You can't miss it. So go check that out. As for other things that are coming out, let's talk about that. So going on and on about that enough. Coming out soon, we have Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen coming available December 6th. That is going to be really interesting thing to see. I am a huge fan of Dragonlance, always have been, and I'm excited to see these books come out. Um, One of the things that I know that a bunch of us talked about with the fact about D&D Beyond, we couldn't get it because it wasn't owned by Wizards of the Coast, but now it is it looks like you are going to be able to do the one thing that we wanted, which is a book. And if you have that book, getting a code that makes you redeem it digitally. If you go and look on there now, like Shadow of the Dragon Queen Deluxe Edition bundle, it's physical and digital editions. Uh, if you pre-order it, the release date is December 6th, but you get early access to the digital content on D&D Beyond on November 22nd. It comes with Heroes of War, provides high character creation rules highlighting core elements of the Dragonlance setting, including the Kender race, yay, and new backgrounds for the Knight of Solamnia and the Mage of High Sorcery magic users. Introduces the Lunar Sorcery Sorcerer subclass with new spells that bind your character to Kryn's 3 mystical moons and imbues you with lunar magic. Dragonlance introduces the Dragonlance setting to the 5th edition and an overview of what players and DMs need to run adventures during this world spanning conflict. You also get the World at War, participate in an epic war story set during the War of Alliance. Villains pits heroes against the infamous Death Knight Lord Soth and his army of Draconians. Battle Scenarios, which offers 12 different scenarios of varying difficulty, 6 with content customized for interacting with encounters in the Shadow of the Dragon Queen. Battlefield presents a set of double sided battlefield and encounter tiles for building unique battlefields with diverse environments. Warriors of Kryn game components, 6 highly detailed hero figures, 6 hero boards, 136 plastic unit markers, 10 double sided battle tiles, 22 double sided adventurer tiles, 7 custom dice, 92 tokens, 320 cards, a partridge in a pear tree, 8 Lords of Leaping, 7 card dividers, 5 golden rings, 1 storage tray, 1 rule book, 1 scenario book, 1 key moments tracker, and a Happy Meal toy. It comes with all of it. So all of that stuff, the pre-order grants you early access, all the digital copy, the Shadow of Queen printed deluxe edition containing that stuff that I mentioned. It's huge. It's pricey. It's $155. Merry Christmas to somebody out there. But what I'm getting at is that the when you pre-order the book set through Dungeons or D&D Beyond, you actually get the digital copy as well, which is one of the things that we were all talking about. So there we go. All right. I think I'm done prattling off at the head about all that stuff. Okay. I think that's all of the announcements I have. Welcome, Mitch. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, the tabletop board game and everything. It's amazing. It's going to be huge, and I cannot wait to see it set down on a table. I know I've got my own built-in D&D group now every other week with all the kids, so they're all excited. But yeah, so without further ado, now that my voice is shot, let's begin tonight's episode of The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. And welcome back, everybody. Last time we left off, a battle ensued. Most of you nearly got your asses kicked. A couple people went down. A fireball went off by accident. Um, at the end of it all, though, Skabatha stuck out her hand, and you stuck out yours, made a quick negotiation, a deal was struck. So, she stands there after having confirmed your deal, looking at all of you and kind of like holding up the edges of her skirt a little bit, her eyes darting back and forth.
Can we reconfirm exactly what the deal was?
You tell me, what was the deal?
That she had to leave the region.
That's correct.
She agreed to go to her sister's. She would help us obtain what was lost for those of us who had things lost in her possession. And she would stop with the child slavery, I believe.
That is correct.
Mm.
And
She
oh
had,
wait, and there was also like leave the people of the land alone, wasn't there?
yeah.
Yep.
She was told to no longer use the children to her nefarious ends, to help you restore that which was lost, and to leave thither and never return. To which she agreed, as long as you let her live. And you accept. So, as she stands there with her hem held slightly off the ground, her eyes darting back and forth, licking her lips under her grossly hooked nose, she kind of looks back and forth. The wind up piece on her back spinning much more quickly than what it was earlier. Not fast, but spinning more anyway. What are you doing?
Checking in on the
Well.
party to make sure everyone is okay. I know things were getting a little dicey there at the end.
In the words of Marcellus Wallace, I'm pretty fucking far from okay.
Oh. I am I'm gonna go give basically I'm gonna go over to Fanny. I'm going to hug her, pick her up, and I'm gonna carry her over and pull Willerin into a hug with us three.
Hmm.
There's
Wisely.
there's a disgruntled from the
You're
top
telling
of
me
her
about it. Give me a warning next time. Whew, I'm all pumped up.
I
Somebody's
did
like, my hair's rubbed the wrong way. Are you kids okay?
no
That's-
shit though. I fully expected you to go. I walk over to Granny or Fanny, I pick her up, and I full on suplex her.
Body slam.
Just
I-
suplex.
My whole brain was there too. I was waiting for it.
I like go to like there's like a small hair like the sticks that's got like a little flame at the end, and I like lick my finger and then just pull it out.
It's just this, but replace the deer with Fanny. Just full on suplex Fanny.
Ooh,
Wow.
sorry about earlier. I usually don't put that on friends and family. It's the old age. You kind of get a bit of loose strings here and here and there.
I appreciate the help. Thank you. And then I will release where can't say the name Willerin and set down Fanny.
Skabatha looks over at the three of you. Her head cocked to the side slightly, her mouth slightly agape. She's got this like protruding chin and hooked nose so that the profile between her nose and her chin looks like a half moon or like like a moon shape. And but she turns her eyes to you, the clockwork key on her back spinning again a little faster now. She's becoming more relaxed in the situation. She goes,
Is that normal for you all? Hugging after nearly killing one another? Seems very odd.
And it's not on purpose. When you get to this old age, you can't hold a lot of things in. Sometimes you gotta be careful and not trust.
I am just
Well-
giving her the stink eye.
To be
Oh,
fair,
no.
we were trying to kill you.
Oh, and you we're doing an excellent job of it. An excellent
Why
job
do-
indeed.
Do you need one?
A hug?
and she looks honestly perplexed by your question.
Did you just ask me if I needed a hug?
Yes.
Hey.
And she gets quiet for a moment, and she like toes the ground with her shoe, and she's like,
I wouldn't turn it down.
Aw.
I will pad my way over and stick my hands up.
Oh.
to be honest with you, she's not much taller than you.
Oh. I just walk over and hold my arms out.
She kind of awkwardly spreads her hands out and then like puts them around you gently, giving you a pat, pat, pat.
I give her a hug
And
long enough for her to actually to commit to it.
It's that thing where she's like kind of letting go a little bit, but you haven't yet. So she's just like, okay, and gives you a little bit more. You're still holding on. She's like, okay. And then like leans fully into it.
See, isn't that better?
Yeah. What do you know? It certainly is. Right. So,
And now suplex. No.
Watching this tiny otter man pick her up and suplex her. The sound of like crushing gears and things.
With my -2 strength.
Yeah, it would. You're like, oh yeah, she's not going anywhere. All right.
So, who lost something that was told would find it here?
Who remembers?
It is I think. Wait. Yes.
Two of you. Mm-hmm. Fanny is one.
I think I was the other one, wasn't I?
Yes, you are. Yeah. Yeah, you were the other one. All right. She beckons you to follow her, and she leads you further into the depths of Loomlurch, past the round room where you had the staircase up, through the hallway where you met the little girl ghoul, into the portrait chamber, where there's currently and conspicuously one picture missing. She leads you further into a kitchen. After unlocking a door, she leads you across the way, unlocks the door on the far side, and leads you up a set of stairs. As you climb to the top of the stairs, I can't talk now. You pass through a small, steady. Hang on one second. As you climb to the top of the stairs, you see a bedroom. Almost everything about the bedroom is orderly. Everything from the bed with the patchwork quilt to the ornamental pigs arranged in a neat row on the dresser. Such tidiness, however, is in juxtaposition with the decaying dollhouse that is sitting on the bedside table. It's about 3 feet tall, and the edifice has seen better days, and it's now besmirched by peeling paint, mold, and rot. Behind the dollhouse, by the window, a large bell jar sits there, and inside, fluttering around, are a series of moths. Facing one another along the outer wall are a pair of doors. Next to the door closets, or closest to the staircase, is a wooden rocking cradle with a neatly folded blanket within.
Well, now what?
She. Hang on a second here. She takes a moment and like looks at you all and says,
Turn around quickly. Quickly, turn around.
Sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
will very hesitantly turn around.
There is a moment where you hear the sound of creaking wood, like a small door being opened. And then you hear a boop. Any of you
Tight.
turning around the other way? Turning to look at her?
I would.
As you turn and look, she's not there. The dollhouse is cracked open. So you've seen how dollhouses like they close up and then fasten, and then you can like unfasten them and open them up so you can see inside of them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
When you came in originally, it was closed and fastened. Now that you're looking at it, you can see that it's been unlatched and opened up. And as you watch, you see a very tiny version of Skabatha moving around inside the dollhouse. As you watch,
Ah.
there is that you see she jumps, and as she does, you hear that whoop sound, and this time she becomes boom, her full size, a little over 5 feet tall. She looks at you all and says,
Oh, I told you to turn around. No peeking. Now, here are your items.
and she holds them out. And at first, you don't recognize it, but then all of a sudden, Fanny, you recognize one of the things that she's holding. It's a locket. You don't know when you lost it. You don't even remember losing it. It's been so long since you've seen it. This silver is burnished, and you can see that there's a patina on it, but it's silver. You remember the delicate chain when he put it around your neck and clasped it. You take it from her hand, not even thinking, your body moving of its own accord as you reach out and take it. The clasp is broken now, but you know that he can fix it. He always was really good with his hands. It's he, and the memory of he, and the memory of him. And as you hold this locket in your hand, you take a moment and you open it. On one side, you see yourself. Describe the picture that they see.
Is it a younger version of myself?
Mm-hmm.
You see a very, very beautiful woman. It looks like she hasn't aged. She should be around in her maybe late hundreds or early 200s. Um, and she's got that wild hair, but this time it is all down and just flowing to the sides, and a big smile on her face. Different glasses, still big, still magnifying level. But she looks very, very happy. And she's got, looks like she's been in the sun with a little bit of redness on her cheeks and especially on her nose.
You smile, the memory flooding back into your brain of working in the garden, not afraid to have the dirt on the knees of your dress, the hem dragging just slightly. You can't help but laugh, remembering all the work he put into raking the leaves just to have you dive into them. He laughed and dove in right next to you, and you look at the other side of the locket, and there's a picture of a man. Describe the man that you see.
This man also mirroring this huge grin. And he's got big bushy eyebrows and he's got curly hair, just a lot of curls. And they're dark brown. And he's got a big bushy mustache. He tried to grow a beard, but it seems like he shaves the beard off because it's always patchy. It doesn't grow the way he wants it. But big old mustache, that seems to work out for him. And his smile, he's got these big, balled up apple cheeks, all plump and happy. And he's got a bunch of freckles all over his face and dark amber eyes. He looks like a very sweet old man.
You are.
He's,
Go ahead.
he's just got some crow's feet as well. Mr. Crow's feet.
You smile in spite of the location you're in and all that you just went through. You close the locket and hold it to your chest for a moment, feeling the etching on the back of it. As you turn it over and look, it's a short inscription. You would know the handwriting or at least the etching from anywhere. It's his. What does it say, though?
It says something. Just a sec, I gotta find it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It is. Is no match. With the fire in your heart, your wings are like a storm. And I will drown in your love if you are a whirlpool of your own being. Stay wild, wild child.
What name does it have written there? I should say, who is the inscription from?
Inscription is from him. And it was for me. He always loved my adventures. He always would read stories and think of all the adventures and things that he would think he would never be able to do, but I think he could. So I would want to create those adventures and bring them to life for him. My dear, dear. His name is William. William. William.
There's a croak from the top of your head.
Wait. Wilbur? Wait. I pick him up.
He does the thing where his arms are kind of like awkwardly out in front as you hold him in your hands, your face to his.
William. Wilbur. I know you had a long name. I know. Oh, she's starting to tear up. I knew you were very annoying for a reason. She hugs him tight. Oh gosh.
There's a little croak from underneath your
What?
arms.
What happened? Oh my dear Wilbur. Oh gosh, I remember Wilbur and Montrose have been shoved this whip. Puff and wit. Oh, William. What happened? Did you know? Or was it just me, darling? Was it just me?
He brings his back legs up and his front legs like rest on your hands, and like he kind of paws at your hands for a second. And he just kind of like sticks his tongue out, like, you know, like moisture, adds moisture to his eye, like licks his eye, just kind of.
Ew. Ew. Okay, well, you don't have to be like this sentimental moment. You always do this. Oh my gosh. To think that I would have just been fine bringing that hag to her grave and not even knowing that. Oh.
Do you set him down, or are you still holding on to him?
Yeah, I'm slowly sitting him down, but I don't want to let him go.
Okay.
Okay, I'll let him go.
As you set him down on the ground, there's a moment where nothing seems to happen, and then there is a unfurling of scintillating light and colors. It's not so bright that you have to turn your face away from it, but it definitely fills the room, but not in a harsh way. It's a soft, inviting, warming glow. And as the colors coalesce into a form where a frog, a toad, once stood, you see a gnome. His hair is white, still curly. The mustache is still unkempt and white. His round nose and apple cheeks. He looks at you and says,
Well, took you long enough.
Oh, Wilbur! I tackle him.
Oh, not in front of the children.
Guys, don't ever do that to me. Are you insane?
It wasn't really my choice.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so confused.
Jay is bawling.
You were my. Oh, you were my lost. You were my lost. Oh, you were that annoying frog for so long. Oh, that makes so much sense. You just knew how to push my buttons. Oh, you turd. And I hug him tighter and I kiss his cheeks. Oh, I miss you.
Go.
He blushes, his cheeks turning a bright color, a bright shade of red. He kind of like he smooths his outfit, and you can see that it's the coloration that the toad is the coloration in the vest that he wears. It's got white sleeves. The sleeves are rolled up to about midway on his arms. Um, his shirt seems to be slightly misbuttoned, like it's one button off. Um, it gives him a very endearing look as he's wearing breeches, but he's not wearing any shoes, like no socks and shoes. He looks down and he's like, "Ah, I've been deshotted."
Well, how you were for so long. You didn't really need them. I'm surprised you have clothes on.
strangest thing took events there, and I took a rest by a pool and decided to dip my feet in. Next thing you know, I was beset by her, and he like reels back from seeing Skabatha. Made me a deal, she said. Turned me into a toad, she did. Don't trust her.
Yes, I never did. I look over and just like angry eyebrows. What type
She
of
just-
deal? What? Do you
Well,
remember?
thank you for the follow, Therabomb123.
Oh, Clara Mom. Thank you.
Here a bomb, there a bomb, everywhere a bomb.
She's. You remember when we were going through that sort of bad spot there with all of the crops in the garden?
Yeah? It's just a really bad drought.
Well, I mean, sometimes you look for a little additional help. So I looked for a little additional help.
You didn't. I told you I got it.
Right. And it's not that I didn't trust you. I just wanted to make sure it was taken care of. And, seemed to have gotten myself in sort of a pickle. I kept wondering why I had to find you, and you couldn't find me, and then you just sort of forgot all about me, like I wasn't even there.
Oh.
Oh, it's all done and said now.
And he picks you up and hugs you tight, and then he puts you back down.
So, right. I'm not a toad anymore. And I'm not exactly a fighter. I'll have to figure out how to get home on my own.
And who are you?
Oh. And he starts to introduce himself.
Hello.
Fanny runs through the name because she can say it better than I can.
Well, very Montrose haven't sharp this or whip, puff and wit. But you just call me
Bless you.
William or Wilbur. This is my partner in crime. This is my dear husband, my problem.
Oh. And he takes a deep bow at the waist.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance.
It's
Jay
wonderful to meet you.
Jay is wiping away tears. Oh, I
Aw.
love a happy ending. I can't wait to find out who Percival is.
Wait, what?
Ooh, don't cry or I'll cry.
Jay, if you don't have inspiration, please get inspiration. That was great.
That's great.
The goat just.
Would you like a piece
I-
of candy?
Are you offering that to Wilburn?
You bet I am.
Ah, that sounds delightful, but I did see what it did to the rest of you, and I think I'll refrain. Thank you all the same. I've had enough bugs to last me a while,
So
even
you,
if they are dipped in sugar.
hey, so you remember everything, right?
Yep.
Oh goodness. Oh goodness.
Yeah, well, we'll
Even-
talk
even-
more about that when we're home.
Oh boy. Just don't tell your sister of all the things how I think about her, okay? Just ooh.
Yeah, I think we're safe there.
Well, I mean, you're sticking with us. You're not just gonna go by yourself. You just can't leave. We still got a job to do, but we'll
Indeed.
protect you.
I would hope so. I believe you owe this young feller something, though.
And he turns to look at Skabatha, who is like staring off into the distance.
Oh, right. I still owe you something else.
and she takes the other item that she was holding, which is a folded map. Easy to see, yellowed parchment, slightly frayed at the edges, curled up slightly, folded up neatly, and she hands it to you, Sir Hickory Turnip. You've seen maps, you're very familiar with them.
Okay. I'll kind of look. Hickory will kind of look it over and then just kind of like unfold it gently and probably cringe a little bit, like he's half suspects it might explode or something like that.
Yeah. You unfold it and you can see that while it is well worn, it is cared for greatly. You see rolling hills and marked rivers, a crossing, a bridge leading into some foothills of a larger mountain range. You can see a large forest just outside of the foothills leading away, a road marked on the map. And at first you don't recognize anything. The names on there don't mean anything. But as you start to watch and look at it carefully, you remember the forest. You remember the smell of the loam. You remember the smell of the loam in the fall as the leaves decompose. You remember the oranges and yellows and reds of fall. You remember the first sprig of green and how some of the people in the village would sneeze as their allergies kicked in the late part of the spring. You remember the smell of the flowering that wafted up from the forest. You remember the sound of the thunderstorm that would start at the top of the mountains to your back. The smell of petrichor after a hard rain as it rolled down the mountainside. That thunder echoing off like a staccato boom from some great timpani band. You remember the feel of the cold as the wind would rush down the mountainside over the hills, broken only here and there. You remember the sound of laughing children as they played in the first snow of winter. You remember the fields rolling as they go, golden with wheat, bright yellow and green with corn, green and rolling with bean and other foodstuffs. You remember watermelon. You remember a festival. You remember hearths, the smell of smoke. You remember the door, that front door. You can't believe you forgot about it, but the memory floods back to you. You remember the jangle of pots and pans as you were coming or leaving for the first time. You remember the smell of bread being baked. You remember the sound of laughing children, people teasing and saying, "No, I get the first piece. No, you got the first piece last time. I don't want the heel. I want the heel. It's the best part. You can scoop it out and stuff it full of jelly." And you remember, you can't see the faces. They're still chasing a dream that you just woke up from. But you remember that feeling of being in a place that was safe and secured. You remember a fire that broke out and how everybody came together to put it out. And then they came together to rebuild that which was damaged. There's a name written on the little village nestled in the foothills against this mountain. What's the name of the map?
The name of the village would be Long Ridge.
Long Ridge. It wakes up so much more memories as you say it, just kind of uttering it, not really even saying it out loud. You didn't realize you said it, but just that little muttering of Long Ridge and the road, and you remember the river that's there beside it. Not a very big river, but you remember fishing in it.
Ah, the Sweetwater. Yeah.
Sweetwater. There you go. You remember leaving on that road, and you remember how to get home. As you watch the map unfolding more of it, you can see the largest city, a mix of human and other races. And you remember how far it was to go from one to the next. You don't remember when it was that you last left, but you know that you found your way home again.
Oh, this is it. Oh, how could I have forgotten all of this? It's just east of the hills there. Ah, he'll kind of like probably put a hand to his head and just kind of be like, how could I have forgotten all of this? It was so simple. Oh, they'll turn to the rest of them like, I've this is the route home. I've been traveling for God's only knows how long. I've always been looking the way back to my family's inn.
Oh, congrats, kiddo. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And don't beat yourself up. I had my husband on my head the whole time and I had no idea. So.
To be fair, you lost your way home. I lost my husband and he was on my head the whole time. It's like looking for your phone with your phone.
You're on the phone, talk to somebody while you're trying to find
I
your
can't
phone.
find my
can't
phone.
find my phone.
Oh,
Hey
wait,
guys, have
I'm
you
an
seen
idiot.
my sunglasses? I can't find them. I put them
It's
down
always the
somewhere.
last place you look. It's always in the last place you look.
Or using your phone light to search for your
Yes.
phone in a
Oh
dark
my
room.
gosh.
That's exactly it.
That one I feel attacked on.
And then you just stop because you realize it, and that feeling that you get, like, oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's it.
So did you ever actually lose your husband? If he's been with you this whole time?
What? Oh,
Well, when you lose something in your mind, it's just as lost.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I
Well,
thought I was just single and ready to mingle. No.
single and ready to mingle.
Hey, 380 is the new 40, I guess. I don't know.
That's
Wild
right.
Magic's Anonymous.
Yeah, by dirty 300.
That's horrible.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you
but-
better be careful. I mean, you don't want to explode around now that you've got your husband with you. I mean, that might be.
Yeah, I know.
You have to be careful.
Dang it. I guess Styx can't romance Fanny after all.
sorry to ruin that ship.
kiddo.
That's a shame.
I am like Mega Cougar.
What's the step above that? What's the step above that one? It's like cougar. What's the step above cougar? Is it like mountain lion? Was it
No,
puma?
it's Puma.
Puma.
All right.
What happened to me? What happened to you? I got mauled by a puma last night.
That's funny and horrible. Skabatha has her hands like tucked behind her back and is rocking on her heels, kind of like one of those sorry guys, those little impish kind of stances,
Mhm.
Well, I've helped you find your lost things. I guess I'll be on my way.
And she kind of like points her thumb like off in the general direction.
To my sister's place. Anything else?
Is there a faster way to get back to Bavlorna's from here?
Oh, certainly there is.
She
I
kind of gave us a bit of a deadline to get her this portrait.
Right. I'm sure that I can find a way, but I know that there's a little fellow named Squirt. If you can find him, he might be able to guide you a little faster. As for me, I've got my own way of going.
And she lets out a whistle, and you hear what sounds like running horse hooves. And suddenly through the door bursts a rocking horse. It streaks across the room, barreling past all of you, nearly knocking you to the ground. She leaps onto the back of it. Doesn't sit on it, but leaps onto its back and grabs the reins. It whinnies, neighs, and she drives out the window, skating away off into the distance.
Work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there we go.
Hey.
How long did it take for us to get here? It was
Didn't take you very long. It was just a quick ride on a balloon.
Yeah. Well, since she's gone, should we ransack the place?
You
Like for
absolutely
kids?
can.
I don't, did we get all the
mean-
little children?
Well, this was
If-
this was her home, right? But if she's gone, then it's not her home anymore. Wait, what? I'm not suggesting ransacking the place. What? He'll just shake his head, kind of like confused as to why he thought that.
I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry.
Found your wild head too.
I know.
All right.
Suddenly you're handed a map and it's let's ransack.
So
You learn how to ransack again.
that's what you lost was your thieving past. It's all been returned to you. You remember all the horrible things you did.
That would be awful.
Oh right, I'm evil.
The BBEG was Sir
Lord,
Hickory
it's-
Turnip all along.
It's the Friday game all over.
Sir
again.
Hickory Turnip, Blackguard.
That's
You
to say, Sir
know-
Hickory
I'm
Turnip,
back.
Oathbreaker.
Part
I
of
didn't
me,
know we were
like,
playing
if
Among
Percival
Us.
did change, I was like, yep, Percival's the big bad. That's what's gonna happen. Something awful got sealed away in this wholesome little goat.
Yeah,
He
yep.
becomes like
Cornbread is cornbread. Gosh, cornbread is a freaking nightmare.
he's
A nightmare but goat.
Sir Percival is a nightmare.
I was just thinking that in my head. Flaming mane.
Hickory turns into
He's got
an
a flaming
oathbreaker.
goatee.
Percival turns into a nightmare. It's just a bad time.
Yep,
You're
it's still
yelling.
goat.
You're yelling out. Is still goat.
It's
You're
just a
yelling.
flaming goatee.
You're yelling out the window at Skabatha. No, take that back from him. Take it back.
No, take it back.
Steal it
made
again,
a
please.
mistake.
All right, bringing back my bounty hunter days. Let's go. I remember you.
It's the I don't want these consequences. Because so my action's chasing me right now.
My consequences.
You're all running away from him as he runs behind you. Oh man, that would be a real twist on it.
Yep. That'd be hilarious.
The rest of the game is you trying to free this area while running from your own party member. All right. Shenanigans aside, no, Percival is a goat. Or yeah, Percival's a goat. So your turnip is a halfling. Everything is safe. You're okay for now.
For now.
For now.
Wow.
I always say for now because you never know what you're going to come up against.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, we were supposed to meet up with the kiddos
Yes.
outside.
Back
Yes.
at the Oak Heart.
Ah.
If I'm not mistaken, it was back
Mhm.
there.
Yep, there was a
Yeah.
rendezvous point and then back to Oakhart.
Little Oak, but yeah.
Little Oak.
So you guys rendezvous unless you do want to go through the rest of this building, which we can do with a hand wave. Otherwise, you can meet up with him.
Quick search for more little ones.
Yeah, little ones. It is claptrap. Nope.
Claptrap.
Wait.
Do not let
Clapper-
Claptrap enter this game.
I know.
He
I was
does
like,
not
no,
belong here.
no.
That would not.
Oh,
I
that
can
would
only-
be so much fun, though.
Absolutely not. He can stay in Borderlands.
Yeah. Yep. Clapper Claw is if his head
Game
is
a
around here.
Borderlands RPG.
Ooh, yeah.
Is his head around here? I do want to look.
You search high and low, finding all manner of items, but you
Oh.
do not find Clapperclaw's head.
Dang
Dang
it.
it.
Dang it. What the hell is his head?
You
Do
do
I-
find. I will give you the following items that you find as you go through. I
Oh.
will let you decide as a party if you want to keep these items or not. But you do find a spell scroll, a set of 4 silver teaspoons engraved with pained facial expressions,
Oh.
a bronze candlestick shaped like a bird's leg.
Whoa.
You also find a jar of iridescent glass eyes, a silver hammer and chisel in a green leather tool belt, iron metalworking tongs shaped like the jaws of a snapping dragon. In another room, you find
Oh boy.
a silver bookmark shaped like a feather, a gold signet ring depicting a weeping willow, a cracked bloodstone stuffed inside of a pillowcase,
What the?
a spool of barbed golden yarn, 3 bolts of silk in shades of putrid green and cesspit brown, a set of 5 painted thimbles depicting poisonous Feywild plants, need to look at something real quick, because this may make
Oh.
something change. Okay, never mind. Keep going then. You also find a gold bodkin, a pouch holding 35 silver pieces, although you're not familiar with the mintage, and a small leather-bound book containing delicate sketches and watercolor paintings of pixies, sprites, and other fae. You find in the kitchen 6 brass egg cups embossed with the faces of crying children, an ornate 8-minute hourglass, a moldy wooden coffer labeled mushrooms that's written in Elvish that contains 2 butterfly saddles and a humming umbrella. These are types of mushrooms, by the way. And give me an investigation check.
All of us, or just one of us?
One of you.
I'll go.
Okay.
Go for it.
Oh, that's really good.
21.
Hidden, but not so much that you couldn't see it. In the kitchen, you see a 3-foot square, padlocked iron grate. It was slightly covered up. It covers out a 5-foot deep, 5-foot wide cell built into the kitchen floor. The walls of the cell seem to be made of clay brick held together by mortar. If you look inside, you can actually see somebody. Currently, there's a bedraggled and grumpy looking dwarf inside there.
Oh,
He can't
dear.
really sit down because he doesn't have room, so he's just kind of leaning, and he has his legs kind of like pushed out as best he can, so he's kind of like propped himself up.
Oh, hey, guys, there's somebody in here.
Of course there's somebody in here.
And it's alive.
Of course I'm alive. Who are you?
Fanny.
It's a dwarf.
Well, I'm certainly not a bearded gnome.
We've already got one too many now. Alright, who are you? And what are you doing in there?
Well, certainly not enjoying the sights. My name is Elkhorn. What's your name?
Fanny.
Fanny. Nice to make your acquaintance.
Same here.
So, are you going to let me out, or am I going to stay in here the whole time?
Look at you.
Are you going to try to kill us if we let you out?
You going to try to kill me if you let me out?
No.
Oh, well then, I won't kill you. You don't kill me. Sounds like a fair deal.
Hmm.
So, are you like are you a rival or an enemy or a prisoner? Well, a prisoner clearly. But are you an enemy of Skabatha?
Oh no, she puts her best friends in the pit and locks
You
them.
do. Yeah, well, that sounds about right with her.
What do you think?
Okay. I see we can get this stay open.
Do any of you have thieves' tools and are proficient in them?
Yes.
All right. Give me a dexterity check, adding your proficiency bonus. So basically, give me a thieves' tool check.
E. It's not great.
No. Looks like that lock is a bit beyond you.
Ah, shoot, guys. I can't get this one.
Anybody else want to try?
A shot,
Okay. You
I
gonna try to
suppose.
pick the lock?
I will attempt. I'm afraid I don't have thieves' tools, so it's all right if I borrow them.
Ah, sure. That's fine with me. Here you go.
Okay.
And sorry, what roll? Dex?
Are you proficient in them?
Not them. I'm proficient
Okay.
in sleight of hand, but I don't think that's the same thing.
No, not quite. It's gonna be dexterity, but without your proficiency bonus.
Did we just hit the
Okay.
thing hard? Oh yeah, go ahead, roll.
That's fine.
You got this, kiddo.
23, 18 plus 5.
Jay is holding true to his name of not being very lucky. You deftly pick the lock. There's a loud as it comes unlocked.
You loosened it for me.
What?
Kind.
As you watch, the dwarf reaches up, pushes. It's one of those situations where you try to push a lid open, but you can't get enough oomph behind it, and he kind of goes up for a second and then starts to fall back down. He pushes it again. This time you grab it and flop it open. He has his hands like on the edge, but because it's 5 feet deep and he's a dwarf, it's like he can't really get purchased to climb out. And he just kind of gives up. He has his hands up and he goes, do you mind giving me a little help here? Up
Sure.
and you lift him up out of there. He is not inconsequential. So as you do though, he like gets up. You can hear the sound of water just like sloughing off of him. You can see that there's water. It's like fetid water in the bottom of this thing. He doesn't smell the best right now.
A bad
Ugh.
marinade.
He like stands for a second and he cracks his back where he does that thing where he like leans back against it and he kind of stretches over to the left and stretches to the right, squats down, sticks one leg out to the right, gets up, squats and stretches the other one, sits down and like rolls his feet back and forth. He's like, ugh, it's good to be able to sit down for a moment. That, you can
You prestidigitation. Jesus.
you prestidigitate him away, the smell
Oh,
away.
yeah.
Oh, that's very handy. So you can see he's wearing armor, including the helmet on his head.
Oh.
What you don't see though, and he starts to look around frantically throughout the room. Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. Come, where are you? Where are you? Sorry,
What are you missing, friend?
a sword and my shield.
Oh, let's take a look around, see if we can find it.
As you guys start pouring through, searching everything, along with the things that I told you, the wooden coffer with the mushrooms, the hourglass, and the egg cups, you find in another one a shield and a sword. The scabbard, it's sheathed, and the scabbard has the sword belt wrapped around it neatly. As you find it, he says, "Ah, yes, there she is." He takes and undoes it, and you can see that the scabbard has elven runes, elven and dwarven runes etched into it. He takes and buckles it on, and it fits him perfectly. He says, "Thank you, friends. I've been down there for some time. My 4 human friends, we entered Prismere to confront our arch enemies, the League of Malevolence. My friends included Strongheart the Paladin, Mercion the Cleric, Molivar the Rogue, and Ringolrun the Wizard. Together, we were called the Valorous Call. What are you called?"
Do we have a name yet?
No.
Super duper pals.
I
Sounds-
don't think that's it.
Super
Hang on
duper
it.
trooper.
Where
Sounds legit.
it's on the list.
It's better
of
than the
things we
League
need
of
to do.
Malevolence. It's a bit
A
on the
lost
nose.
company.
The Lost Company. I like that one. The League
We're
of
we're
Malevolence.
working on it.
Horrible name.
Yeah, League of Malevolence sounds horrible.
I mean, it's a bit on the nose, don't you think? I mean, you're not even trying there. It leaves something to the imagination. But Kellic the Sorcerer, along with Warduke the Helmed Swordsman and Skilla the Warlock, they had a priest, a Vorkis named Zargash, and an assassin named Zarek. We caught up with the League of Malevolence in the Palace of Heart's Desire, which is where Isabelna lived. We fought a mighty battle. I was knocked out and I woke up here in Loomlarch. she's sort of lost interest in me, not even concerned that I starve to death. Luckily, the children, though they toss scraps of food to keep me alive, I was happy to have that. Do you need another song sword?
Sure.
It
Yeah.
certainly couldn't hurt.
Excellent. I will make sure to find any of the other missing children that might be around here. And
Are there any empty cups around?
uh, yes, you can easily find an empty cup.
I'm gonna walk up and pick up a cup. I'm picturing like a big mug. I gotta use both hands.
Mm-hmm.
Walk it on over to our new acquaintance, and then hold up my jug and whisper into it, beer.
Oh, you pour some. It suddenly the smell of a very nice hoppy beer wafts up from inside the jar. The dwarf immediately turns and says, "Did you say beer?" And he holds the cup in his hand and waits for you to pour.
And I do so.
He takes a long draught from it. One of those ones where he keeps swallowing and holds a finger up, and it's just that loud, audible as he swallows after swallow. Pulls it down, wipes the foam out of his beard, looks at you and goes, "Is there more where that came from?"
From what I've been told, a lot.
Oh, you and I, little one, we are going to be fast friends.
And I take large swig out of alchemy jug and refill glass.
All right.
Also, does anyone mind if I keep these? I found them while we were looking for children.
What is he referring to?
I hold up the signet ring with a willow,
Oh,
the 5 thimbles depicting poisonous plants, and 3 of the iridescent eyes from the jar.
Why the eyes?
well, he's already got a wooden one, I think, right?
It is
I've got a glass one.
Is it porcelain?
I've got a wooden
A
one.
glass, okay.
These
Oh,
ones
you
like
okay?
shift colors.
Okay.
He's collecting eyeballs. It's his eyeball collection.
Just don't put them in your mouth.
As you look over and he's already got it like
Ah.
he's rolling it around like a gobstopper.
Takes out the monocle, puts it in my brow, and like stuffs one of the eyes behind it, so it's just like hanging out there behind the monocle.
I forget about the monocle.
Oh, I have a tinted green monocle.
No, I know. I just forget about it every now and again, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot you have a
You
monocle.
same. I completely forgot about it.
All right, Elkhorn, you and Elkhorn search through the rest of the house. The only other thing that you come to is a roll top desk. Looking through the roll top desk, you can see that there is, excuse me, you see that there is a varnished human eyeball inside the lower half of a small hourglass. It hangs like a pendant from a necklace made of woven hair. You also see a black feathered quill with a bone tip. It's currently this crimson colored ink. Seems to be dripping from the end of it. There's no ink pot. It just seems to have this crimson colored ink.
quick clarification question. The iridescent eyes, are they fake eyes or real eyes?
They're fake eyes.
Okay, then yes, I would have taken 3 of them.
They turn to look at you.
If they were actual eyes, I would not have touched them.
There's also a tiny clockwork toad inside of this roll top desk.
Oh,
It's like
Um,
a tiny Wilbur.
I know. I would like to take it.
Okay.
Little
You
clock.
pick it up.
Does it have like the little crank, or is it just?
It doesn't have a little crank in it, but as you're holding it, you can hear that there are some sort of gear mechanisms inside it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. It's very cute. I'll keep this one.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, that's it. You guys search the rest of the house, freeing any of the children, carefully avoiding any of the mechanical soldiers or having them put down quickly with the lot of you. You finally make your way back to Little Oak. As you guys make your way back to Little Oak, you can hear the sound of children all cheering and making noise. There's berries being thrown and people laughing and having a good time, and all of the children are currently safe, having escaped Loom Lurch and Granny Nightshade's horrible workshop.
Yay! So happy.
Just 1 second here. There we go. That's what I was looking for. As you guys look, Elkhorn sticks out his hand. You're all very well. You're all very well done. Thank you for all your help in freeing me and finding the children. I understand it that you have more things to do. Is that correct?
We sure
Yes.
do.
We're always.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'll stay here and care for the children until such a time as we can find them a home where they belong.
That sounds like a good plan. Keep them safe.
When we first came, my friends and I, here in Prismir, we traveled to the Palace of Heart's Desire by following the stone causeway. It's a stone bridge that stretched across the domain. Unfortunately, I believe it's shattered this time. And unfortunately, I don't know of any other way to get there. Maybe that you have to go to return your picture and travel into another location. Maybe the other sister knows what's happening there. Yeah.
Quite possibly. I believe we're looking for someone by the name of Squirt.
You hear thump, thump, and a little oil can comes bouncing your direction. As you look at it, at first you're like, that is in your journal now.
Oh,
He looks at you and says,
I'm Squirt.
I'm glad I didn't kick you.
I'm glad you didn't kick me either. I'm Squirt.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine. Where did you want to go?
We need to
We
get
gotta-
back to Bevlorna.
Yep.
Well, I might be able to help you there. But maybe that fella over there, and you see he's pointing his spout towards Clapperclaw. Maybe together the two of us can help you get where you need to go. Clapperclaw comes over, his big claws leading the way. And Squirt says, I know the way from here to yon. I don't know the way from thither to hither. Clapperclaw says, I know the way from thither to hither, and hither to thither, but I don't know the way to yon.
Oh boy, I need late lunch for all these riddles.
So basically, one can get you from thither to hither, and one can get you from thither to yon.
And we're in thither now.
You're in thither.
Okay, we're in thither now. So we need to get to hither.
Right, because that's where Bavlorna is.
Yes.
Ah.
Okay. Well,
So, will you still be here with the children when we come back from hither?
I can just go with you.
Oh, lovely.
Yep. And he bobs like in the air. Just kind of bobs in the air. He doesn't seem to be bothered by anything. He just floats there.
I can imagine him. I can see it now.
Do we have anything we need to check in with the children before we head to Bevlorna? I know we don't have a lot of time.
Will of the Feywild walks over, congratulating all of you for everything that you've done, shaking your hand and clapping you on the shoulder. Comes to Wilburn in his normal form and says, I want to say Jacob. Thank you, Jacob, for all your hard work and helping freeing the children. He claps Wilburn on the shoulder, who kind of looks befuddled.
Jacob.
We rescued that one from Skabatha's place. I think we're going to take him with us.
Well, I've never seen a white-haired kid with a mustache, so I'm gonna say he's not a kid. He's all yours to go about. I'm gonna make sure these kids get where they need to go.
It's definitely not a kid at heart.
Well, I mean, right.
That was always my job.
Clapperclaw looks at the lot of you and says,
Well, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Wait,
Well-
should we sleep? I can't. I'm pretty sure I can't. I can't feel my feet right now.
all right, so everybody wants to take a long rest?
Oh yeah.
How much time did Bevlorna give us
We
to
had like 8
return?
days. Like 8 days.
How long has it been?
At this time, it has been, hold on one second here. Hold on. Eight days, and it has only been, I think, 2 or let's say 3 at most. So you have a little time to spare.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I need to sit down. I'm sorry, dearie. I know we're antsy to get going, but these old bones. I gotta take it easy once in a while. It's not like it used to be.
You guys spend the night celebrating with the children under and in the branches of Little Oak. The sun goes, or what makes for the sun goes down, and everybody enjoys the fireflies that light up the sky like stars that blink in and out. And you guys get a much needed rest. Good food, probably helped along by Sir Hickory Turnip,
Of course.
and everybody gets a long rest.
I knocked the F out. I'm
And
out.
take a moment, if you haven't, to go ahead and do the thing we talked about in the chat there with everybody leveling,
Mm-hmm.
as you have survived that interaction with another hag. All right. Is there anything that anybody would like to do before we move on? All right.
During
Good.
the partying, I'm going to see if I can convince one of the children to have a piece of candy.
Give me a boy, oh boy. Give me. Hang on a second. All right. One,
Revelry
two,
calls for a little bit of shenanigans.
roll a d10 for me.
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. You come across Roth, the female, the 10-year-old bugbear that gave you that pouch of dust.
Yeah.
You catch up to her, thank her for giving you that dust, as it came in quite handy.
It was incredibly helpful, thank you.
I was just glad to be of help and be away from Granny Nightshade.
I don't
You
know
offer
what
her-
was in there, but it disintegrated one of those tin soldiers.
I don't know either. I just found it. Do you offer her a piece of candy?
I do?
Roll a persuasion check.
Noodle dice.
The noodle dice.
Persuasion plus 2. Ooh. 12.
Okay. What type of candy do you have for her?
I have 3 pieces of what are labeled as weird candies.
What was your persuasion again?
12.
She's a 10-year-old that you're offering candy to. She does not refuse. She reaches out and grabs a piece and quickly pops it in her mouth before you can say anything. I need to roll. God, I just need to roll a Constitution saving throw. It's just a straight D20.
I was gonna say, what's the constitution of a kid?
Just a straight D20. Probably minus something.
Turns into disco ball.
Although, honestly, I have kids. They're pretty damn resilient.
They're like bouncing balls. They will bounce
Uh,
back. Like nothing.
She does not do well.
As long as you don't bring attention to the fact that they ran into something, they'll be fine. The moment you bring it up, though, it hurts.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see. Let's get the crowd involved. She does not make her saving throw. How about we have somebody roll a d8 from the chat? How about our newest follower? Therabomb123, if you were there, will you roll a d8 and tell me what you rolled? And if somebody wants to ping them in the chat, let me know. That would be helpful as well.
A D8, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
a d8. Thank you. Therabomb. It's like Theraflu, but more serious.
For when you're really not feeling good.
Yes, yes. For when you're just feeling like absolute poop. Give it another moment here.
If not, we'll pass the torch to the Master of Dungeons.
That sounds like a good plan. We'll pass that choice on to the Master of Dungeons.
Bum, bum, bum.
Guitar riff.
If
Y'all
you're
are
still
weird.
here with us, buddy, Master of Dungeons, roll us a d8. Decide what weird adventure this child is about to go on.
What are you about to inflict this child with?
A 7.
Okay. You grow as though affected by the enlarge effect of an enlarge reduce spell. So this 10-year-old bugbear who's already sizable suddenly grows even larger. Her voice, already a deepish mass, goes, "Hey, this feels really strange. What was in that?
Surprises!
Man." And all of a sudden, all the other kids are like, "Ah!" and running away, and then they start laughing and come back. And even though now it's pick me up, and so she's like picking people up and like tossing them gently, and then catching them and putting them down,
Oh,
or like swinging them. And now all of them are having fun for at least the next hour, or no,
Yep.
1 minute. It only lasts a minute, but still.
Well, my job is done here.
Oh wait, actually, it lasts for 1 hour as opposed to the spell. So for the next hour, this bugbear is large, just large, just huge bugbear swinging people around.
And I
The
slink off into the crowd of children.
mischief sowed. As the rest of the night wanes on, you guys get a full rest. You wake the next morning to the kids sleeping in all soundly. Wilburn clears his throat for a moment. um, Darling,
yes.
Could I have a word with you, please?
Ooh. Yes. Am I in trouble?
No, of course not.
And he puts his hands on your face and he's like, "Listen, this is all very exciting for you, of course. For me, it's all very terrifying. Um, Elkhorn seems like a good chap, but he's a dwarf, and I just feel like the children they should have a better
example set for them, if you would, while you know, things while they're being rehomed. It's don't look at me like that.
You always have such a good heart. I know this is a lot. I know.
It
If
really
you think
is.
you should stay, I
Uh,
know your paw instincts are kicking in.
well, just long enough until you've settled what it is you need to settle here. I feel like
You follow your heart, okay? I'll love you no matter what, and I'll come back. You better not be hurt or disappearing or turning into toads or even a ferret.
no, not at all.
No
I'll
more,
be
no
here
more
safe.
deal with hags.
Yes, I'll be here safe and sound. I promise you.
No, I know. You'll take care of the kids. You always do. They'll love you.
And he gently pinches your cheek and then gives you a little peck on the cheek, and then he says,
Thank you for understanding, dear.
Oh,
and he kind of like tucks his chin into his chest, and it just kind of wanders off. Um, you can hear him talking to Elkhorn.
No, I don't think beer is a good thing to feed the children. Because they're children. Yeah, no.
And so they are having a conversation about the better part of the reasons why children should drink beer at a young age versus not. The rest
and
of you,
she's just gonna look along with a smile on her face, but it's a little bit of a sad smile.
well, the Clapper Claw and with Squirt sitting on his shoulder, come up to the rest of you.
Clapper Claw says, well, if you're ready, I guess we'll be on our way.
And he kind of turns on his heels. And at first, it seems like he's going just an arbitrary direction. But as you look, you can see that he's actually leading you towards a mountain range off in the distance. You march through the forest, past Loom Lurch once again, traveling for the better part of a day. The fog thickens as you get towards this mountain range, and at first it seems impassable, completely devoid of, completely missing any way to get through. He tells you all to take a break for the evening, and you do. You sleep. It's comfortable despite being outdoors, but the weather is good. You awaken the next day, and as deftly as slipping on your shoes or as quick as a snap, he guides you through a pass that had it not been for him, you would have never seen it. And before you know it, you're standing at a long wharf that marks the brigands' hideout that they were using. Not long after that, the brigands' tollway. Not long after that, you find yourselves heading back towards Downfall, the hut where Bavlorna lived, her cottage. You make your way up the outside tower and find yourselves once again in her study. The day is late. You present her with the picture. Give me a second. As you bring the picture to her, she looks at it once more and smiles, her big round eyes.
Well, a deal's a deal.
And she looks at all of you and says,
I believe I owe you a few lost things. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Hmm.
Excellent. Now, who was it what said they lost something here? Hmm? Was it you?
She points a finger, this green, toady looking hand toward Willerin. And she takes a deep, nostrily sniff of the air and points at Jay. And she said, It has the stink of you on it. You watch as she flumps her body over towards. Excuse me. Throat hurts now. Hang on just 1 second. You watch as she stumps over to a chest that's there. And she says, Well, come on. These are the things you've missed. Mm-hmm. She walks over to this cabinet, this shelf, and she opens it. She takes out a couple of items. One of them is a stone well worn in the center, like a worry stone of some sort. Smooth and round, perfect for skipping. It's a stone that seems to be one of those that you would keep on you at all the times. She walks over with her long fingers. It's like held awkwardly in her hand, and she takes her other hand and grabs your hand, Jay, and pulls it towards her, turning it over. As she
Oh.
does, she lets loose of the stone and drops it into your hand.
Thank
you. It's a little film on it, but you wipe it off quickly. Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for getting that picture back.
Of course.
You're not sure why, but this is significant. This means something. It's a tingle. You've never seen the stone. The memory of the stone doesn't signify anything. But at the same time, the minute you hold it, you feel as though whatever that was that you lost, is returned. It floods back into you. And you look at it, and you kind of can't help but smile to yourself. And you remember the times when you were younger and you would trip over your own feet thinking you were about to meet the ground with your face. You would right yourself at the last second. Or as you would walk along thinking you didn't have a dime to your name, you would find a couple of copper pieces laying on the ground. You remember a time when you needed to be somewhere at a certain time and you were running right on time, but if anything got in the way, you would be late. And it just is like the roads opened up to you and everything was turning up, Jay. You remember a time whenever you made a bet with a friend and it was a long shot, just a friendly wager, but it was still a long shot. And somehow the odds were in your favor. You remember a time later on when you were doing some not so friendly wagers. The dice were just always coming up sevens for you.
Hmm.
You remember a time when you couldn't draw a card to save your life. You couldn't get a good hand. You remember all of the hard times, thinking that you just needed a little luck. And while you're holding this stone, you feel as though luck, or maybe fate, some manifestation of that smiled upon you. Instinctually, you take a coin out of your pocket. You call heads and flip it. Catch it, pop it over. You hold your breath for a second as you reveal it. It's heads. You take it again,
Aha.
flip it, calling it tails this time. You catch it, pop it over on your hand and go, wait, no, it's heads again. You slide your hand off confidently. And sure enough, it's heads. You flip the coin in the air, catch it, stuff it back in your pocket.
I clap.
You feel
What
like
do you know?
the luckiest halfling alive.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Willerin.
Hmm.
Now, Jay, you remember what it was you lost? You have found it again. Your luck has been returned.
Ooh.
Willerin. What's handed to you is a small book, like a children's book. Before I break into this, do you remember what you lost?
Yes.
Okay. Want to make sure that we were on the same page. All right. You
Sorry.
This is a children's book. It's brightly colored. The art is simple, but it's effective. As you turn to the first page, you see a small, excuse me, lavender skinned child. Not unlike your own. I say lavender, purple, whatever color that is.
It's kind of lavender.
Kind of lavender ish.
Lilac.
Small lilac. There you go. Small little horns protruding. You see others gathered around. You get a sense of family. As you turn the page, you see good times, a table, not a big, extravagant thing, but simple and humble, and yet it is so full of life and love, even from the simplistic drawings that you see on the paper. You turn page after page, and it's like getting a story and a narrative told to you in such an immersive language and word with each page, but it's just simple images. You turn the next page, and the next page, and the next page, and the next page, and each page shows this little lilac figure getting larger, and the family, and a little larger, and the family, and a little larger. And you get to the end, and you see a lilac colored person with white shot through with their dark hair, their horns swept forward over pointed ears. They're holding a book and they're reading it. Again, there's no words on the page, but a memory of a life that you don't remember, but yet you lived. A fullness fills your heart, and you reach back and you remember the times before the carnival, a life that you didn't remember. If anybody would have asked you moments ago what you did before the carnival, you would have said you were always a part of the carnival. But now you remember something different. While we see the lilac figure with the little horns on their head, what else do we see in some of these images?
In some of the images, there would be almost like a carbon copy, I guess, two little lilac children running through flower fields, and a tall lilac man with horns in different directions, and a larger, almost sort of pale gray woman with tusks that come from her bottom lip, and a house on the edge of a forest with fields and gardens of crops, and just lots of toys strewn about, and a tiny child's room with 2 beds in it, and a family of 4, really.
A name floods your mind, and before you even realize you say it, you mutter. You mutter the name of your little carbon copy, your friend, your built-in best friend that's been there since the day you were whelped into this world. What name do you utter?
Ashrin. My brother.
You always called them mom and dad, but they had names. And you recognize them as mom and dad, but you also recognize them as that part you didn't come up with. That's okay.
It's around.
Somewhere in the
around in my
notes.
notes somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere in the notes.
Yeah.
You did write that big backstory, so
I feel like this
did.
is the opposite of what's the NPC's name?
Tell me. You start
I get to do this
shaking
to
me.
you guys now.
Who are they?
What's your mother's name?
Shit, I thought it was just mom.
She didn't have a name. It's literally mom.
So,
Oh.
what do we see on Willowrin's face as they're going through this book?
Yeah.
It's like at some point I've just kind of crouched down, like in this sort of squatting position as I've been reading this book, and it's just the expression is it's kind of like a mixture of shock and disappointment and how I could forget something like this, and it's just the quietest I've as Willerin ever really been.
Oh. I'm just gonna come step forward and just put my hand on his. Will, Willerin?
Yes, sorry, Fanny. Yep.
You, you know, it's not your fault.
It might as well be. We all lost something because we went to the circus without a ticket.
And all of us didn't know it was going to be like this.
I didn't know I needed
This-
a ticket.
I'm used to breaking into a lot of things. This is definitely something I've never expected.
Yeah.
You that your freedom of memory was taken from you for a little bit of fun. That's something that is truly not fair. Years and years of love and knowing who you are or your values and your memory. That's worth more than a ticket. And we didn't know these things were going to happen. I forgot about the love of my life, my partner in crime, the moon to my sun, the dumb to my ass, and pain in my ass too. I felt mad at myself for forgetting that there was something missing. But honestly, it's being overwhelmed with my elation to get him back. That we're doing this. We're finding our way. We've achieved this. And I know they will be very, very proud of you for the bravery and leap of faith that you're taking in doing this. And I can tell you love them deeply because you're hurt. If you weren't hurt, that would mean something else. And there's 2 more knuckleheads that we need to help in this journey.
Think about how excited they'll be to see you again.
I know. Is this your kid sibling?
Twin, actually.
Twin! My goodness. Just to see how much they've grown. I bet they would love to hear your adventures. And see how gorgeous you've grown up to be. And how wonderful.
Thank you.
We'll see them. You just gotta have some faith. Well, it's one step in the way. We got the big part out of the way. I'm proud of you. Now chin up, we got 2 more knuckleheads.
All right. I'll hold the book tight to my chest and I'll quickly slip it in my bag and standing up, he's like wiping his face. There's glitter and tears like everywhere. but I'll give a good like strong stance or face or however that goes and I'll look
Power
to
pose.
just Sticks and Doodle and be like, all right, well, you're next.
And Bev Lorna says, well then, I think our business is at a conclusion. Get out of here. And they wave you off. Clapper Claw is none too happy to leave, along with Squirt. You guys are led back across hither, resting for the evening just this side of the mountain. The next day, you cross through, checking on the children once more before you head across thither, where Squirt takes over, leading you into the next part, into Yon. The hike this time is not through a mountain, but up it. You climb a winding path until you find yourselves. You stand on a path that winds between rocky crags on a mountainside. The sky is dark and full of roiling thunderclouds. A howling wind greets you, and for a second, lightning splits the sky, striking nearby mountaintops and illuminating a distant pinnacle of rock that has a foreboding castle carved out of it. Ahead of you, you see two figures standing on an outcrop of rock, outlined against the stormy sky. One, a slender female elf wearing a crescent moon mask, and the other is a 3-foot tall dandelion, a small rapier strapped to its stem. Nearby, a honeybee the size of an orange buzzes around the dandelion's bright yellow head. The elf is the first to notice you. As she points in your direction, the dandelion quickly draws its rapier and assumes a defensive pose, rapier out, one leafed hand over his head, poised in a fighting pose. The honeybee buzzes more loudly as it flies circles around the two of them. And as you come across this, what could be friend or foe, that is where we're going to draw tonight's episode to a conclusion.
Wow.
Oh,
Next week we will
Okay.
have a show. Next week we will be having session. But after that we will be out of touch for about 3 weeks. So please make sure you guys tune in next week. Tell everybody else that we're going to be back next week. And until then, take care of yourselves. I can't wait to see everybody again. And I know you guys just leveled up, but as the rules for this one goes, when you enter into a new region of Prismere for the first time, level up.
oh my goodness.
Oh,
It's because
Level
of
6.
Woo!
oh wow. Okay.
Ah.
We gained a
Yep.
level in lore.
Yep, you guys. Character advancement is entering a hag's realm. So anytime the character enters a hag's realm, whether it be hither, thither, or yon for the first time, everyone receives enough to go up a level. When you encounter a hag, after the characters encounter a hag of the Hourglass Coven for the first time, everyone goes up 1 level. So by the time you're 6th level now, you'll be 7th level when you meet the next hag, or after you meet her, I should say. And then when you get into the next portion of the book, which would be the final stage, you should be 8th level.
Oh man, guys, I'm so fast now.
All right. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and watching. Stick around for the raid as we're going to go raid somebody. I'm not sure who yet, but we're going to go raid somebody. In the meantime, thank you all, and we will see you all next week. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
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 See ya.
Ciao.